The National Assembly has kicked off the consultation process aimed at capturing stakeholders' comments on the proposed Food and Feed Safety Control Bill of 2023. The government-sponsored bill seeks to ensure food is safely produced, distributed, processed, marketed, and prepared for human consumption from the farm to consumption.
The Kenyan food value chain is regulated by multiple players through a plethora of policies and regulations. These include the Public Health Act, the Dairy Industry Act, the Kenya Plant Health Inspectorate Service Act, the Kenya Bureau of Standards Act, Fertilizer and Animal Foodstuffs Act, among others. The government plans to consolidate the activities of all these institutions by creating a legal entity to regulate food safety in Kenya from farm to fork through the Food and Feed Safety Control Bill 2023.
We can ensure a harmonious and streamlined approach to food and feed safety regulation in our country. While recognizing the importance of international standards, it is essential to highlight that the inclusion of Kenyan standards in the bill is meant to diminish the significance of international guidelines.
Your amendment seems to have taken out the requirements and just leave the food and also bringing the Kenya standard.
When we analyze the effects of the alcohol that has met your standards, is wreaking havoc in Mount Kenya region. Where does that leave us in terms of then our standards versus the international standards?
The standards that Kenya Bureau of Standards develops in consultation with all stakeholders are the ones which are recognized in Kenya, and they are the ones which have said they are based on the international standards.
Stakeholders in the food value chain say a lack of proper safety standards and inexistent traceability process have denied Kenyan produce from accessing the lucrative international markets.
We should have another clause that provides that in case of trade-related issues, the competent authorities should also ensure they have capacity to certify as per the market requirement.
If we adopt the international, your act still takes precedence. So if the committee is of the opinion that we take international standards, then we have to amend this section 21.
But we must enforce them to adhere to the international standards for purposes of competitiveness and even for safety of the production that we make here.
We should also have our interests as a country at heart, so that then we'll be able to produce standards that will help us.
The bill also seeks to establish the Office of the Food Safety Controller, which will be tasked with overseeing and coordinating the efforts of various governmental bodies responsible for food and feed safety.
The controller should assess the mechanisms, procedures, systems, set rules that are put in place by the competent authorities and not their activities as proposed, e.g. conducting of inspection.
In line with the Constitution, which recognizes consumer protection as a fundamental duty of the government, if passed, the legislation will clearly define roles of both the county and national government in ensuring supply of safe food and feeds to consumers. Trevor Ngendo for Prime Edition at Parliament Buildings, Nairobi.